We good to go? All right. Thanks, everybody, for coming. Really appreciate you guys for showing up. I'll say a few things, and then we'll get to the questions. I mean, what an amazing day for the fans of Dallas, for the city of Dallas, and then also for the franchise. Kelly, Ralph, I want to commend you on the job you've done with Cooper, not only putting the ball in his hands, but the person that you've raised. Everybody that I talk to, whether it's the coach, he talks about when I can coach my best player hard, my job's easy. So, Jay Kids, you can coach him hard.
Cool.
His teammates, the first thing they say is he's the most competitive. He's the best teammate I ever had. The people that are around the team, the support staff, like he's not entitled. He just wants to be part of the group. When you talk about building a championship culture and you talk about winners, those are the things that are made of. And so just want to commend you on the job you've done because he's more than just a basketball player, and that's why he's so special. And with that, I'll open it up to questions.
Welcome to Dallas, Cooper. We're happy you're here. First question, you're a versatile two-way threat. If you had to pick, would you rather make a big block or posterize someone with the dunk?
Oh.
Yeah, great question. That's a good question. I think maybe a dunk, maybe a posterized dunk. I feel like, there's a lot of energy that goes with a play like that.
All right, thank you.
Cooper, Mike Curtis, Dallas Morning News. Welcome to Dallas. Shortly after the Mavericks got the #1 pick, there was a video that surfaced of you, 13, 14 years old, in the Mavericks shirt. Could you just give us the context behind that moment, that decision to wear that shirt, and what did you know about the franchise growing up in Maine?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was 13 years old. I had a really good friend who is a diehard Mavericks fan, and he's a little older than me, and he had kind of outgrown some of his clothes, so he, lent them down to me. And at the time, you're just wearing what you can, going through wearing clothes, and I love basketball, and so I just put it on and went for my workout.
And then, do you know the summer league plan for you at all? I know it's still pretty early, but yesterday they announced that the Mavericks are going to be playing the Lakers. Just wanted to know if you had any plans.
I'm not exactly sure on a plan. I'm planning on playing. But yeah, I'm not sure on any sort of plan. I don't think we've had any of those conversations yet.
You seem so excited to see Knipple and Malawach both get drafted. What does the success of your teammates mean to you, and how are you going to take that to the NBA?
Absolutely. I think it means everything to me, especially those two guys. They're the greatest teammates, the greatest people, that I've had the privilege of spending time with. Khan was my roommate all year, and then Kaman, me and him have a really special bond on and off the court. So I think just being able to see that for them was really special for me. They mean a lot to me, and I think it's just such a dream come true for all of us that it was just really exciting for me.
Tim McMahon, ESPN. There's a statue of Dirk outside the arena. Obviously, he was the face of this franchise for a long time. He kind of handed the baton to Luka. The anticipation is he would have been the face for a long time. Plans changed. There's now that anticipation for you. How do you feel about kind of that lineage and the responsibility that comes with those sort of expectations?
Yeah, I mean, I'm coming in just trying to learn and trying to get better every single day. And I think if I can do that to the best of my ability, I think expectations and pressures that other people, will put on me and our team, that will kind of work itself out. So, I'm just trying to come in and be the best that I can be and just win at the highest level.
Hey, Cooper, Christian Clark with The Athletic. A lot of #1 picks. They're joining situations where it's gonna take a while to be competitive. What are your thoughts on coming into a situation where they got a lot of talent and veteran pieces already on the roster and kind of built to compete right now?
Yeah, I think it's a blessing. Like you said, a lot of people in this position or this situation aren't, granted this opportunity. So I just feel really blessed and grateful for the situation I've been given. And I'm just looking forward to being a sponge, just getting down here. I'm excited to just learn, soak it all in and learn from the guys that are older and have been through it all before.
Cooper, Joey Mastretta with Clutch Points over here. We talked to Paige the other day, Paige Beckers, and she said that she gave you a hard time for going to Duke instead of UConn. Want to get your thoughts on that, and then also just her overall game. What do you think about her game with her playing in Dallas as well?
Yeah, I mean, she's great. Obviously, I went on a visit to UConn, and I was able to meet her when I was on my visit and talk a little bit. She's a great person. She's had an incredible career so far. But I think it's funny. I mean, that's just kind of how that back and forth college stuff goes. So I think it's funny. But yeah, she's a great player. She's had a great career, and she's a great person.
Skylar Dixon with the AP. Cooper, this is quite the scene. The hoopla is only going to probably go up from here. How does being at a program like Duke, a storied program like that, help you sort of deal with what this is today and what you're going to face going forward?
Yeah, I think being able to go to Duke and be under that spotlight, it's kind of a good preparation. And then even nowadays with the NIL era and stuff like that, college kids are kind of under a bigger microscope than ever. So I think it's a great preparation, honestly, for me to kind of come to the next level. And I've had a year to kind of deal with a lot of that stuff in the media and all that different stuff. So I think it's just great for me to kind of have that year of preparation.
Cooper, Sam Gannon, Fox 4, congratulations. I know you're a fan of the lobster roll, but now coming to Dallas, are you ready to embrace the Texas barbecue and Mexican food scene?
For sure. I love Mexican. I love barbecue, so I'm excited to, find some good spots.
Hey, Cooper, Landon Thomas, Mavs fans for life. Not a lot of number one picks have the luxury of playing with future Hall of Famers when you have Kyrie Irving, Klay Thompson, Anthony Davis. What excites you about that?
Yeah, I think like I said earlier, just being able to be a sponge. Those guys have so much knowledge. They've been through so much, and they have so much experience that it's just going to be an incredible opportunity for me to learn and grow under them.
Cooper, Brad Townsend, Dallas Morning News. Fans and media alike have been trying to pencil you into the lineup, unsure whether guard, forward. What do you primarily see yourself playing, after talking to Jason?
I think it's a versatile position, doing a lot of different things. I think, with the team, looking at the roster, we can play a really good brand of positionless basketball with a lot of guys that can do a lot of different things. So I think that would be one of, the biggest strengths, and I think just trying to play to that and just doing whatever I can to help the team win.
Jason, Eddie Sefko, Mavs.com. You've been and have been around a lot of young, talented players. How do you go about molding Cooper and bringing him along to become the star that everybody thinks he will be?
Yeah, I think just from past experiences, being in this seat, being one, but just sitting here listening to him, is it incredible? I mean, we're talking about an 18-year-old who has all the right answers and is talking about working out after this. But, when you talk about his gift, he's a basketball player, and he's a winner. And I thought he answered the question about position perfectly because I don't look at the position. I want to put him at the point guard. I want to make him uncomfortable. And see how he reacts, being able to run the show, being able to play the 2, play the 3. He's comfortable playing that, but we want to push. And I think he's going to respond in a positive way. It's all right to fail. It's all right to turn the ball over. We've talked about that. Just understanding the guys that I've been around that have been young, from Giannis, giving him the ball, and he failed. But he wanted to come back and have the ball. So I'm excited about giving him the ball against the Lakers and see what happens. Let's get it started right off the bat. But, I think just his poise, he's going to be successful for a long time. He likes to work. He's not afraid to work. And he comes from a great family. So I'm very blessed, and the Mavs are very blessed to have him a part of the family.
Cooper, Dorothy Gentry, iMessenger Media. 2 fun questions for you. Who's on your Mount Rushmore for NBA and WNBA players? And what's your favorite basketball movie and why?
My favorite basketball movie is Hoosiers. That was one of my favorite movies growing up. I watched it hundreds of times. My Mount Rushmore of NBA players, I would say Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, LeBron, and probably Kobe. And then WNBA, Candace Parker, Brittany Griner, I think Asia Wilson is on there. And then I might put Caitlin Clark on there just because she's changed the game so much and is heading in the right direction. And I just love what she's been able to do.
In the back, Nui Scruggs, NBC5. Question for you, Jason. Having sat in that seat before when you were drafted number 2 overall, knowing the expectations that the fan base has and representing hope, what's the one bit of advice that you could give Cooper that maybe you didn't have when you first came to town with all the hope and hype being a number 1 pick?
Yeah, I think he brought it up earlier. He's very lucky to have veterans, future Hall of Famers. When you talk about Kai and Klay and then AD, just understanding the vets are going to, protect him and help him, and they're going to push him. When I was drafted, we were maybe the youngest team. When you talk about Jimmy and Jamal, we just didn't have a lot of vets. I know Mo Wiley's here. No disrespect, he was a vet. But we didn't have future Hall of Famers. So I think when he's stepping into this situation, there's no better situation for him to learn the game on and off the floor.
Jonah Javad here with WFAA. Cooper, your parents are front row and have been an integral part of your journey, I'm sure. Was there a moment growing up in childhood that you remember when they kind of really fostered your love for the game?
As soon as I can remember. I always had a ball in my hands. As soon as I was able to shoot outside, we had an outdoor hoop, mom, dad outside playing pig with us, shooting around with us, just kind of having the ball in our hands at a really young age. So they're definitely, the people that did that, and, I'm very thankful that they did.
Cooper, Lawrence Dow, Fort Worth Star Telegram. You chose the number 32. Can you talk about what went behind that choice of jersey number?
Yeah, so 32 has always been my number. I wore it as a little kid, wore it in middle school, high school. Last year, obviously, it's retired for Christian Laettner, so I wasn't able to wear it, but I'm just excited to get back to my number.
Cooper, Faith Knight with D210 Sports. Being the second youngest draft number 1 pick overall behind LeBron James, what advantage do you feel you possess that has helped you get to this point in your career?
I think just having incredible people around me. I have a really good support system and group of people around me that have helped me make decisions and things like that. Starting with my parents and my brothers have been with me every step of the way and kind of helped me to get to where I am in every way. So I think just having incredible people around me is really the biggest thing that's helped me to get to where I am.
Abby Jones, Dlls Sports. Cooper, welcome to Dallas and congratulations. This is a 2-part for Cooper and Jason. Your team, your experience with Team USA and playing there, how has that kind of contributed to how you're going to transition into the NBA? And then Jason, with your experience with Team USA as well and the Olympic staff, as a player and now a head coach, how are you able to, manage Cooper and meet him there?
Yeah, I think that experience was, really important for me. It was such a good learning experience for me to just be able to go out there and share the court with 12, 13 Hall of Fame caliber players. So I think it was just incredible for me to get on the court, get comfortable, and see what that was like. So I think that will help me make this transition and just being confident in myself.
Hey, Cooper, Pat Doney with NBC here in Dallas. Welcome to Dallas here in the middle. Everyone around you talks about your competitiveness and that you've always been driven by being great from a young age. I'm curious, what is it that drives you, and what are your expectations when it comes to now your NBA career to not make this the highlight of your career, getting to the NBA, being the number 1 pick?
No, don't forget that question. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I think the competitiveness, I think it just started from a young age, playing with my brothers, playing with my mom in the driveway, fostering that competitive spirit and just loving to win. I think that's, a really big part of it is just loving to win. And that's why I play the game. I play to win, play to compete, play to play really hard. And so those are the reasons that I love the game and I fell in love with the game. And I think that's what's kind of created that competitive spirit and drive.
Noah Weber from the Smoking Cuban. Cooper, welcome to Dallas. This is a question for both you and Coach Kidd. Cooper, from your conversation so far with your head coach and your general manager, what do you think that Mavericks culture is and how can you add to that? And Coach Kidd, with how you know Cooper so far, how do you think that he can add to Mavs culture and what y'all have built?
Yeah, I think obviously something that's talked a lot about is, being a two-way guy. The culture of playing both sides of the ball, playing really hard, making the right plays all the time. So I think that's something I'm able to do, at a high level, just make the right plays and play both sides of the ball.
I think when you talk about the culture about winning, as he's just brought up, he's going to do whatever it takes to win. He might have 10 points one night and 2 steals, but just understanding that it's all about the W's. And so the culture here in Mavs land is about winning, and it's about winning a championship.
Cooper, Grant Avseth from DallasHoopsJournal.com. What do you feel like you improved the most during your season at Duke, and what are some of the focuses in your development right now as you put in reps?
Yeah, I think just getting comfortable with the ball in my hands. Coach Shire really trusted me with that right away, and I had to go through some mistakes, some trials, some tribulations, and just figure it out. But Coach Shire never went away from me, never stopped trusting me, and I think that's kind of what helped to just really get me comfortable throughout the year and get really efficient.
Michelle Montaigne, WFAA. This one's for Nico. Obviously a great draft, but there was a consensus number one in this one. How does having Cooper change the trajectory of the franchise? And then for Jason, what's the best part of getting to coach a player like this who's just 18 years old?
So Michelle, I think how it changes the trajectory. We're in win now mode, and so he adds to that. But he's also the future of the franchise. So I think you get 2 in 1, so to speak. So it's perfect storm for us.
To be able to coach the number 1 pick, I think we're all blessed and excited. And so to have the opportunity to coach a young man like this is exciting. And going to the drawing board, as I said, trying to get him to be uncomfortable quickly, to see how he handles it. And that's, hopefully running the point guard for us and putting him in different situations. But I'm excited to have someone like this to help us win.
Rashad Miller, Dallas Weekly. Of course, you brought up Christian Laettner earlier. Just talk about him and just the former and current Mavericks that have played at Duke, just what they mean to you, and also you being part of the new generation with your brothers that you just played with.
Yeah, I think it's incredible. Obviously, starting with Duke, the path, and I looked at past players, and that went into my recruitment. Obviously, watching Tatum and Paolo and Zion, and some of those guys that kind of had the hype and went through it and went to Duke and were able to develop and get to the next level. That was huge for me, and I think obviously having a bunch of people from the Brotherhood, here, Kyrie, Dlls, like that's just huge connections that can help me to be comfortable and have those connections already built.
Sean Giggy, WFA. Cooper, you look just to last week. You see the Thunder, the second youngest team to win an NBA championship. Pacers also one of the youngest teams in the league. You're about to help some kids with basketball after this. You're arguably closer in age to the kids you're about to help than many of your teammates. How do you think your youth is going to help a team like this? And do you also think what some of the drawbacks are to being so young?
I'm not sure how, my age will play into it, but I'm just excited to bring my game to the table and just, bring the energy, both sides of the ball, and just, try and impact winning in a lot of different ways. I don't really know what the hardest part will be. I guess we'll find out pretty soon.
Hey, Cooper, Christian Clark here with The Athletic. I think you were 4 years old when Kyrie got drafted, 5 when AD. I was just curious, do you remember anything from those guys' college careers? Like, do you have any memories or anything like that?
No, I didn't watch them in college at all. But growing up, I got to see him, shine and, play in the league a lot. And those are two guys that I was able to watch a lot of growing up.
This is a question for Cooper, right here. So you grew up with a twin brother. I'd like to hear, what would you say that your favorite basketball stories with him, and how has he pushed you to become the best player that you are today?
I would say, some of my favorite stories would just be, competing and playing in the driveway. Countless times, thousands of hours just spent competing, playing one-on-one against each other. I'd say over half the time it ending in a fist fight and somebody running inside and, going to their room. But I think just those memories of, being kids and just enjoying to compete and play against each other, during the summer and whatnot outside at our house.
Mike Curtis, Dallas Morning News. Cooper, when you look back at your rookie season a year from now, what do you hope people say about you?
I would say just they would talk about how I was able to impact the game. I want to be a really high impact player and just impact winning at a really high level.
Cooper, Abby Jones, Dlls Sports. Jason Kidd talks about your work ethic and wanting you to be in those uncomfortable situations. What are you looking forward to about your first season in the league and maybe the uncomfortable situations he's kind of talking about, how you can grow and expand in your game?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what I would say, just learning, growing, and getting better through all the challenges and obstacles that are going to present themselves. I'm just looking forward to going through the season and learning. But I mean, it's something that Coach Shire talked a lot about last year. The obstacle is the way, and not hiding from anything. There's going to be a lot of challenges, so just being ready to face challenges and overcome them.
Ron Murray, K104. This right here. This question for Coach Kidd and Cooper. Coach Kidd, you see how the NBA is evolving with different ball handlers, not necessarily the pure point guard era. So just your thoughts on what you'd like to see from Cooper going into this. And Cooper, what do you like to do off the court, like when it's not strictly basketball?
Yeah, I think being able to have Cooper, he can handle the ball, as he's brought up. And so as we go forward this summer and throughout the season is to try to get the ball in his hands as much as possible so they become comfortable running our offense. And then when you have multiple guys out there that can dribble and pass, it just makes the game simple and easy.
Cooper, over here, Leslie McCaslin with the Dallas Mavericks. I'm curious, obviously you didn't get to watch him play when you were younger, but what do you know about your head coach's playing career, if anything?
It was in black and white, so definitely didn't see it.
No, I mean, I didn't get to watch it a ton. I'm going to have to freshen up, do my research. But I think, everybody talks about how legendary of a player he was. So I think, I'll have to watch some more and figure that out. But he was a killer, so.
Thank you.
A winner.
Thank you.
Ro Parrish, CBS Texas. Cooper over here, right this way. So talk a little bit more about the brotherhood and your relationship with D-Live. Could you go into that a little bit deeper?
Yeah, I think Derek came back during last year when we were, in the preseason part of everything and, just being around. He was present. We were able to talk to him, hang out with him on and off the court. So I think it was really cool, just to meet him and kind of build a relationship with him. He's a really, really cool guy. So I'm just excited to continue to build a relationship with him and be able to share the court with him as well.
Nico Harrison, Newy Scruggs here, Channel 5. Drafting Cooper Flagg, obviously fans have been happy. They're buying the jerseys. Do you think this helps heal part of your relationship and the fans after everything this past season?
Yeah, I think so. I think it will help. Most importantly, I think it just, we're in win now mode, and we have a really good team, and Cooper adds to that. So I think the fans finally start to see the vision.
This question's for both Nico and Coach Kidd. I'm just curious, when did you ever watch or see Cooper play in person, and what were just your initial impressions of him?
Well, when I first watched him play, my first impressions were, wow, it'd be great to have the #1 pick. But no, just the way, he impacted the game on both sides of the ball, and he played super hard. And so that was my initial reaction. And again, us not thinking we would have a chance to draft him, I didn't put too much stock into it. It was more of a dream.
Cooper, you've played at a lot of different areas and environments, the toughest competition. We've seen footage online that you've played at Rucker Park, the street ball capital of the world in New York. What are your thoughts about how well you played there, your personal thoughts?
I mean, I think just competing. Some of those events sometimes you get away from, real basketball and real competition. But I think just being myself, competing at a high level, and just trying to win.
Cooper, Brad Townsend from the Dallas Morning News again. I'm sure in the last 48 hours there's been a lot of wow moments. I really am a pro walking across the stage. I wondered about, it looked like you had pretty good accommodations on your flight here. And I was wondering if you could just describe that and your impressions of Patrick Dumont.
Yeah, I mean, it's been incredible. Like you said, it's been really shocking. That's a real feeling still. Just being here, being in these moments. But I think it's been incredible. And I think, being able to meet Patrick and his family was incredible. They have an incredible family. So I'm just looking forward to, continuing to build a relationship with them.
Dorothy Gentry, iMessenger Media, right down here again, Cooper. 2 more fun questions for you. What's on your playlist? What kind of music do you listen to? 1, and then 3 things that you cannot live without.
As far as music goes, I'm not huge into music. Never on the aux, so whatever, whoever I'm with, my teammates, whatever they want to listen to, I'll listen to whatever. And 3 things I can't live without, I would say golf, basketball, and my family.
Just 2 more questions.
Over here? Yeah. Jonah Javad, WFA. Actually, a 2-parter now that you bring up golf. 1, what's your handicap, and are you looking forward to playing with the 2 guys next to you? And 2, what have you known about Texas and maybe the DFW area, whether it's from talking to D-Live or Kyrie or your high school teammate Liam McNeely, who's from Richardson?
Yeah, so I think I'm around a 13, 14 handicap, and I'm looking forward to playing them as long as they'll give me some strokes. So that is part of that. And then I would say, as far as the area, obviously, like you said, my old teammate Liam, is from this area, and I was able to visit him a little bit, and I've been through the area a little bit. But it's an incredible area. It's really beautiful. I'm excited to learn the city a little bit more.
Cooper here in the back, 33 Sports, Daniel Stevet. Jonah kind of took the thunder with the golf question, but I'm curious, you are in Dallas. Scotty Scheffler, Will Zalatoris, Bryson DeChambeau. Perhaps if you get a chance to play with them, maybe you can take these guys sitting next to you. Are you planning on playing with some of the big stars in golf?
I don't know if I'm good enough for that, but that would be an incredible experience for sure.